All right, so we are going to choose two color schemes, and we're going to be using a saturated piece of paper. That means adding a lot of water, and then we're going to add oozles and our color schemes to either side of the page. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a warm color scheme to the right side, and to the left I'm going to be using a cool color scheme. Those would also be considered analogous colors. So here I am adding yellow, which would be warm, some red, warm, and when they are on the paper, they mix together and they turn orange. I'm also adding white. White is considered adding a tint to the color. So there's also white coming through the paper because the watercolor is transparent or translucent, and so you can see the color coming through. The more pigment that I use on the paper, you can see less of the white. So depending on how much water you are using, you are going to make it darker or lighter. So I flipped the page. Now I'm going to be doing a cool color scheme or cool analogous color scheme with some shades. I'm going to be adding black to this. So you can see that I'm adding green. I added a little bit of red because I wanted some violet in there too. So violet can be considered warm in some aspects, but if you add more blue, then you will get a cooler form of violet or purple. So here I am just adding as much color as I can with the amount of time that I have, adding some black for shading. And then I'm going to get ready to clean up. For my cleanup, I'm going to fold the paper in. So what that means is you're going to fold the paper to the color that you have. You don't want to fold it the blue onto the red. You also want to put it on a cubby or a drying rack with your name visible. So you can see I'm putting it on top of the cubbies, and I'm checking to see that my name is visible. I wrote my name on it. After that, you're gonna let it dry. You're gonna let it dry for a day, and then what we're gonna do is we're going to make our mobile. And with this, what we're going to do is we're gonna draw on our piece of paper by folding it outward. So we have the two colors on the outside. You get to pick whatever kinds of shapes that you'd like. I'm gonna be using a circle shape. So I'm just going to be putting a bunch of circles, and I'm using a crayon for this. So it's the same color scheme as the color scheme that I used. So it's orange crayon. You can use a marker if you wish, or a color pencil. Basically, it's your choice. I'm going to freehand this one. If you want to make an organic shape, you can. If you want to make them all geometric shapes, you could do that too. It's totally up to you on how you want to create your shapes. But I wanted to do is put shapes within the shapes, as you can tell. All right. After I'm done with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pair of scissors. With this pair of scissors, I'm going to keep the papers next to each other or closed. So I have a warm color scheme and a cool color scheme, or analogous color scheme of warm colors and an analogous color scheme of cool colors. Both the same size. I'm going to do this to all of the cuttings that I have, or all the shapes that I've made. So I'm going to try to use up the entire paper for this. I'm actually going to turn that shape into something else too. So I have one donut shape that is separate, and I'm going to have one donut shape that is together. I'm going to show you how to create a circle by cutting a hole in the center and then working my way around. So I'm going to put all the scraps on the side. All right, so we're going to look at one that I've already made. You'll notice that there's a bead in between each of them. You can also put a circle inside of a circle or a shape inside of a shape for it. But I have a bead so that when it's hanging up, they don't move around too much. So it creates a little bit of weight. You can also make an image if you want to. So I made a figurative piece. So there's a way to do this with 2 strings or 1 string that is folded in half. So I can show you how to do that if you wish to do something like that. So what I want to do is add the beads to the string ahead of time, so I'm not stringing the beads and then adding the shape. So I have the bead already there, and then I can just move the bead up, and then I'm going to add the shape. So the shapes match each other. So we have the cool color scheme on the other side and the warm color scheme on the other side. So I'm just keeping the bead in the center. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to continue this process until I'm out of paper. If you run out of string, I will help you figure out how to add more string. We'll tie a little knot at the end for help. Those students who are online, you guys can use any type of string you want. I'm going to continue this process till the very end. I ran out of beads, so I'm adding a few more. Here's my donut shape. If I want to put another shape inside of that, I could do that. That is an option. Nearing the end, putting my last few pieces of paper together, gluing them together. You are going to have to put a bead at the end, and you're going to have to tie a knot, and I will help you with that. All you have to do is put it through one time and then add the string. So you can see this is my end project. I'm letting it dry. So I'll figure out a station for you to let it dry. So you can see some of it is drying face up on the cool side and some on the warm side. There it is, finished product. It's hanging up, and I think it would be really awesome to see all of these hanging up all throughout the classroom. I also have the other 2 that are hanging up, so you can see how those look. Dangling with the wind that's being blown in the classroom from the fan. All right, let's go ahead and get started by painting our papers.